Hello friends, I'm Mehran from Polyboost. In this tutorial I want to examine the basic of Embergen and I want to teach you the nodes that are useful for us. And I want to create a simulation of explosion and I want to export the VDB file to Unreal Engine. Alright friends, first I want to introduce you to Embergen's simulation software. When you open the software, you are faced with something like this, which includes tutorials and new tips you can watch to increase your knowledge. Also by default we have some like explosions, smoke and fire. We can open and use them. In general, this software is relatively heavy. Actually, my system don't have a powerful graphic card, and you can see our scene have some delays. And actually, my system have very programs and games, so we have some delays in the recording this video, but you will not have these problems you see in this video because recording is also the reason of these issues. In the left side we have timeline bar and you can press the toggle and set your loop and duration for this fire animation. Now let's create a new scene. As you see, by default this software has created a beautiful and very realistic fire for us. In the right side we have the graph which contains many nodes, but don't afraid, we don't want to use them all for the simulation process. Some of them are for lightings, background, rendering or outputs. Our main work is mostly with force, shade, emitter, simulation and shading. In the shape node, we can have different type of the shapes like sphere, box and other forms. We can also change their size and radius, and also we can change their position and rotation. One of the interesting features of this software is that we can animate any data that exists in the nodes. Let's see how this works. In the left side of the pictures we have a circle, and by clicking on them we can add them for our timeline and create animation for them. You just need to hold shift and click on the parameter to create a keyframe. To be able to affect each keyframe, we need to double click on them and apply movement or any change for this parameter. As you can see, I created a keyframe on the beginning and another keyframe around frame 40, and by moving our fire and creating a loop in the timeline, we have a movement animation of our fire. And also we can do this for radius, rotation or another parameters in the scene. Our another node is force noise node. If it is disabled, we have a smooth fire, and this is not useful for our case. It also has other features. We can increase the scale to stronger waves, and we have gain, or we can use the amplitude option for increase and decrease to more spreads. Another important node is emitter. In these parameters, we can change the amount of the fuel rate or temperature for stronger fire or bigger fires. As I said before, we can create animation for any features. For example, we can animate the temperatures and simulate an explosion. However, this is not correct method. As you see, we created the explosion animation. Now let's try the correct method. In my opinion, to create the explosion animation, it is better to bring the entire emitter activity into a timeline so that we can turn all the features and off. Now I want to decrease our emitter parameters, and I want to go to shading menu, and I want to render our fill parameter in the emitter. As you see, we have a render of the fill, and in the beginning we have something like this. Now we can decrease or increase our fuel rate, and now I want to temperature animation, so add to the timeline and set keyframes for this option for creation of our explosion. Now we can change the smoke parameter for better smoke after the explosion. And also we can change noise parameters for better explosion and fire. In the pressure tab, we can change the parameters for create much strong and more intense fires. And also we can go to simulation node, and in the combustion tab we can change the expansion parameter for stronger explosion. Alright friends, now we can create our explosion. You should also try to create different type of explosions. The next thing that we work with a lot is shading. The first tab of the shading node is lighting. We have some parameters like shadow sharpness, ambient occlusion, and we can change the lighting effects in the shadows or many things of the lightings. The next tab is scattering tab, which can give more strength to the light of our fire. The next tab is the emissive masking tab, which can create interesting and natural and stylized fire looks for our project, and we can use this for better quality of our fire. The next tab is flames. In this tab we have an important parameter. This is fire color, and we can change our fire color in the tree method, and in the color ramp we can change the color in the RGB, and also we can expose our color gradient, and we can give a color gradient for our shading node and make our color, and we can add some green color in this case for magical fire. But I don't want to create the magical fire, and I press the Ctrl Z, and I like this explosion fire, so I want to go to export VDB method. Now I want to take a VDB output for our work. So first we need to set frame range in the timeline. Now I select the export VDB, and I set the number frames, and after that I enter a name for our VDB file, and I choose the folder for exporting and press the export now. Now we have our VDB files, and I want to import to the Unreal Engine. In Unreal Engine, we must to import first file of our project. As you see, after importing, image sequence found 285 files, and we can import that. Now we must search in the engine folder sparse volume material, and we can copy this material file to our VDB folder and make a instance material. In the instance material, we must add our VDB file to global texture parameter value. Now we must to active the albedo, black body, density mapping, and temperature parameters for our VDB. Now we must add heterogeneous volume, and now we can to add our material instance to heterogeneous. And if I active the playing and loop, and we can see our video file, and we can scale and copy that for our project. And also you can return to Embergen and change some parameters to bigger fires or anything, and you can import the VDB again into Unreal Engine and make different fire explosions. Alright friends, we have reached to the end of this tutorial. In the next parts, we will cover how to create fractures and coordinate them with this system and Niagara. Alright friends, don't forget to support our channel, like the videos, leave a comment, and if you wish, support the channel financially to help to its growth and progress.